The silent uprising, the victory that never was. 5 years had passed since the Kithran Empire declared victory over Earth. Their massive warships hung in orbit like dark monuments to human defeat, casting shadows over the blue marble that once proudly called itself the cradle of humanity. The aliens had expected a simple conquest. They had studied human history, analyzed human warfare, and concluded that Earth would fall within months. They were right about the falling part. Earth's governments had collapsed. The military had been scattered. Cities lay in ruins, their skylines broken like shattered teeth. But the Kithrans made one crucial mistake. They assumed that breaking Earth meant breaking humanity. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, something stirred in the darkness. Captain Maria Santos floated in the cockpit of her modified mining vessel, the Resilience, staring at readings that shouldn't exist. Her ship's sensors were picking up massive energy signatures from what should have been empty space. "Computer, run another scan," she whispered, her heart racing. The results came back identical. Hundreds of ships, all running silent, all broadcasting the same impossible signature. Earth military vessels that had been reported destroyed years ago. Maria had been a cargo pilot before the invasion, running supplies between Earth and the outer colonies. She had watched the Catherian fleet arrive like a storm of metal and fire. She had seen Earth's mighty space force crumble in days. But what she was seeing now defied everything she thought she knew about the war. Her communications array crackled to life with an encrypted signal she hadn't heard in 5 years. A voice, calm and steady, spoke through the static. "Captain Santos, this is Admiral Chen of Earth Defense Command. Welcome to the Black Armada." The Ghost Fleet awakens. Admiral Chen had been declared dead at the Battle of Luna. The official records showed his flagship destroyed, his crew lost, his dreams of Earth's freedom buried with him. The Kithrans had even erected a monument to their victory, a twisted spire of metal that rose from the ashes of Beijing. But Chen was very much alive, floating in the command center of the EDS Nemesis, a dreadnought that officially didn't exist. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of 237 vessels, each one a ghost in the machine of the Kithran occupation. 5 years we've waited, Chen said to his assembled captains, their faces flickering on screens throughout the hidden fleet. 5 years we've watched them celebrate their victory over a humanity they never truly understood. The Black Armada wasn't supposed to exist. It had been a contingency plan so secret that only 12 people in Earth's government had known about it. When the invasion began, these ships had been ordered to disappear, to hide in the deep black between worlds, to wait for the moment when Earth needed them most. That moment had arrived. Chen activated the Ghost Fleet protocol, sending coded signals to resistant cells across the solar system. On Earth, in the underground tunnels beneath New York, former Marine Colonel Sarah Park received the message and smiled for the first time in years. On Mars, in the hidden settlements of the polar ice caps, engineer Dr. James Wright began powering up manufacturing plants that the Kithrans didn't know existed. The resistance had never died. It had just learned to be invisible. The first Kut the Kithran supply convoy was routine. A string of cargo vessels escorted by 2 patrol cruisers making their weekly run from Earth to their forward base on Europa. The cargo was mostly human artifacts, art and technology that the aliens found fascinating, trophies from their conquered world. Captain Alina Vasquez watched the convoy through the scope of her modified destroyer, the Wraith. She had been hunting Kithran ships for 3 years, picking off isolated vessels, making the occupation force paranoid about phantom raiders. Now she had backup. All ships, this is Wraith Actual, she transmitted to the 12 vessels hidden in the shadow of a passing asteroid. Target the escorts first. I want those cargo ships intact. The attack lasted exactly 4 minutes. The patrol cruisers, expecting at most a single human raider, found themselves facing a coordinated assault from multiple directions. Their shields flared and died. Their hulls cracked open like eggs. The cargo ships tried to flee, but escape pods were already launching from the human vessels. Boarding parties in black armor moved through the alien ships with practiced efficiency, not killing the crews, but disabling their communications and navigation. Within an hour, the convoy was in human hands. But more importantly, the Kitharans had received their first message in 5 years. Humanity wasn't beaten. It had been preparing. The Empire Awakens Admiral Zexthon was reviewing casualty reports when the message arrived. The Kitharan commander had been enjoying his posting as Earth's overseer, a comfortable position managing a defeated population. The humans were compliant, their resistance scattered and ineffective. The report from the lost convoy changed everything. Impossible, Zexton hissed, his 3 eyes focusing on the tactical display. Our intelligence indicates no major human fleet survived the initial assault. His aide, a younger Kitharan named Vexmel, manipulated the hologram to show the attack pattern. The assault was coordinated, Admiral. At least 12 ships working in perfect synchronization. This wasn't some rebel group. This was military. Zexton's skin shifted from its usual blue to the angry orange of alarm. The Kitharan Empire had conquered 47 worlds. They understood warfare, understood how defeated civilizations behaved. Scattered resistance was expected. Coordinated fleet actions were not. Double the patrols, he ordered. I want every supply route protected. And send a message to the High Command. Tell them Earth may not be as pacified as we believed. But even as he gave the orders, Zexton felt a chill that had nothing to do with the ship's climate control. In 5 years of occupation, he had never seen the humans truly fight back. He was beginning to suspect that was about to change. The network spreads. Dr. Sarah Chen had been working as a janitor in the Kitharan administrative complex in Geneva for 3 years. The aliens barely noticed human service workers, treating them as part of the background, invisible and harmless. They had no idea that Sarah held 3 degrees in quantum physics and had helped design Earth's most advanced stealth technology. When Admiral Chen's message reached the resistance networks, Sarah was ready. Hidden beneath the complex's main server. Room was a quantum communicator she had built from salvaged parts and alien technology. Within hours, she was coordinating with resistance cells across the globe. Phoenix Base, this is underground control, she whispered into the quantum transmitter. The Black Armada is real. Repeat, the Ghost Fleet is active and operational. The response came from Captain Park in the New York tunnels. Copy that. Control. We have weapons caches ready in 47 locations. How long until the main event? Sarah checked the encrypted countdown that Admiral Chen had included in his message. 72 hours. Pass the word. Operation Lazarus is a go. Around the world, the message spread through hidden networks the Kitharans never suspected existed. In the Australian outback, former Special Forces soldiers emerged from underground bunkers. In the Siberian wilderness, scientists activated hidden research facilities. In the depths of the ocean, submarine crews who had been playing dead for 5 years began powering up their reactors. The Kitharan Empire thought it had conquered Earth. It had only conquered the surface. The Storm Gather's Admiral Chen floated before the massive viewport of the Nemesis, watching as his fleet prepared for the largest operation in human history. 237 ships, each one crewed by volunteers who had given up everything for this moment. They weren't the largest fleet in the galaxy, but they were something the Kithrans had never faced before. Humans who had nothing left to lose. Status report, he called to his bridge crew. Commander Lisa Park, Sarah's sister and the fleet's tactical coordinator, checked her displays. All ships report, ready for jump. Weapon systems are hot. Stealth fields are stable. The resistance networks are in position. Chen nodded, then opened a channel to address the entire fleet. 200,000 faces looked back at him from screens across the Armada, men and women who had sacrificed 5 years of their lives for this moment. Today, we remind the galaxy who we are, he said simply. Today, we show them that humanity doesn't surrender. We adapt. We endure. We return stronger than before. The Black Armada rides to war. The response came as a whisper across the fleet. Thousands of voices speaking in unison. We are the storm. As the countdown reached 0, the Ghost Fleet engaged their jump drives. One by one, the ships of the Black Armada vanished from the asteroid belt, reappearing in the outer reaches of the Terran system. The Kithran Empire was about to learn that they had never truly won this war. They had only given humanity time to prepare. The storm unleash, the hunt begins. Zexton stood in the command center of his flagship, the Dominion's pride, watching as his fleet scrambled to respond to the impossible. In the past 6 hours, the humans had struck 17 different targets across the solar system. Supply convoys vanished. Communication relays went silent. Patrol ships simply disappeared without even sending distress signals. How many ships are we dealing with? He demanded. Vexmo manipulated the tactical display, showing the scattered attack patterns. Our intelligence suggests between 50 and 200 vessels, Admiral. But the attack patterns are unlike anything we've encountered. They strike simultaneously across vast distances, coordinate perfectly despite communication blackouts, and seem to know our patrol routes before we set them. Zexton's skin shifted to a deeper orange. The Kithran Empire had rules for conquest. Step 1. Defeat the enemy military. Step 2. Occupy their worlds. Step 3. Integrate their population into the Empire. They had completed Steps 1 and 2 with Earth 5 years ago. Step 3 had apparently been an illusion. Send a message to all patrol groups, he ordered. Full battle alert. I want every ship in groups of no less than 5, and get me a line to the High Command. I need reinforcements. But even as he gave the orders, Zexon knew he was reacting rather than acting. The humans had seized the initiative, and the Kithran military doctrine wasn't designed for this kind of warfare. They fought pitched battles between fleets, not this ghost-like harassment from shadows. Liberation Protocol Captain Maria Santos guided the Resilience through the asteroid fields surrounding Ceres Station, the former mining colony that had become a Kithran prison camp. Her ship had been modified with stealth technology salvaged from the Black Armada's advanced systems, making her virtually invisible to alien sensors. Behind her, hidden in the asteroid shadows, waited 12 ships of Admiral Chun's fleet, including the destroyer Wraith under Captain Vasquez. The mission was simple in concept but deadly in execution. Free the 3,000 human prisoners held on Ceres and evacuate them before the Kithran garrison could respond. Wraith, this is Resilience, Maria transmitted on the encrypted channel. I'm reading 24 guards on the outer perimeter, estimated 40 more inside the facility. Their main ship is powered down in the docking bay. Elena Vasquez's voice crackled back. Copy that. Resilience. Strike teams are ready to deploy. Remember, we need to move fast. Intel suggests they have a protocol to eliminate prisoners if the facility is threatened. Maria felt her stomach clench. The Kithrans weren't cruel by their own standards, but they viewed humans as a conquered species. If they couldn't maintain control, they would eliminate what they saw as a resource denial to the enemy. The attack began at exactly 03 for 7 hours. Stealth pods launched from the hidden ships, carrying human commandos in modified EVA suits. They struck the guard stations simultaneously, using non-lethal weapons to avoid triggering automated alarms. Within 6 minutes, the outer perimeter was secured. Inside the facility, Dr. James Wright was among the prisoners, his engineer's mind already working on the problem of mass evacuation. When the rescue teams burst through the sealed doors, he was ready with a plan. The main air recycling system connects all the prison blocks, he told the team leader, a former Navy SEAL named Marcus Johnson. If we can patch into it, we can use it as a communication system to coordinate prisoner movement. Johnson nodded grimly. How long do we have before their fleet responds? Wright checked his makeshift timepiece. 40 minutes maximum. The Kithrans aren't stupid. They'll have protocols for this. The art of War Admiral Chen stood in the Nemesis's war room, surrounded by holographic displays showing the entire solar system. Red dots marked Kithran positions, blue dots showed his fleet, and yellow dots indicated ongoing operations. To an outsider, it would look like chaos. To Chen, it was beautiful. The series operation is proceeding on schedule, reported Commander Park. Vasquez's team has secured the facility and is beginning prisoner evacuation. Chen nodded, then pointed to a cluster of red dots near Jupiter. What about the Kithran response fleet? Exactly where you predicted, Admiral. Admiral Zexton is consolidating his forces around Europa, probably planning to use it as a staging ground for a Chen smiled for the first time in years. The Kithrans are excellent strategists, but they think like Kithrans. They're trying to apply their own military doctrine to a problem that requires understanding human psychology. He manipulated the display to show the patterns of the Black Armada's attacks over the past 12 hours. To the Kithrans, it would look like random harassment. In reality, every strike had been designed to force the enemy fleet into a specific position. Signal the Aurora and the Phoenix, Chen ordered. It's time for Phase 2. Battle of the Titans. Sarah Park commanded the destroyer Aurora, one of the newest ships in the Black Armada. Unlike the older vessels that had been hidden since the invasion, the Aurora had been built in secret over the past 5 years, incorporating both human engineering and captured Kithran technology. She watched as the enemy fleet took position around Europa, exactly where Admiral Chen had predicted. 53 Kithran vessels, including Admiral Zexton's flagship. Enough firepower to glass a planet, but arranged in a defensive formation that revealed their psychological state. They were afraid. All ships, this is Aurora, actual, Sarah. Transmitted to the 19 vessels of Battle Group Alpha. Remember, we're not trying to win a conventional engagement. We're trying to prove a point. The Black Armada emerged from the shadow of Io, their stealth fields dropping simultaneously. For a moment, the two fleets faced each other across the void. Human determination meeting alien superiority. Then the dance began. The Kithrans opened with their standard opening gambit. a coordinated barrage designed to overwhelm enemy shields through concentrated fire. But the human ships didn't respond conventionally. Instead, they scattered in seemingly random patterns, using Jupiter's radiation field to mask their movements. "They're not fighting like a fleet," Vexmol observed from the Dominion's Pride. "They're fighting like a swarm." Admiral Sexton watched as his perfectly coordinated battle formation was disrupted by human ships that refused to behave predictably. Each human vessel seemed to be operating independently, yet their actions created a larger pattern that was slowly surrounding his fleet. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "No species fights like this. There's no central coordination." But that was exactly the point. The Black Armada wasn't fighting like an alien species. They were fighting like humans, the human factor de Arcera. Chen had spent 3 years studying Kithran psychology while pretending to clean their offices. She had learned that the aliens were highly organized, hierarchical, and predictable. They excelled at coordinated operations, but struggled when faced with chaos. Humanity's greatest strength had always been adaptability. From her hidden position in the Geneva complex, she watched as the battle around Jupiter played out exactly as Admiral Chen had planned. The Kithrans were superior in firepower and technology, but they couldn't adapt to human unpredictability fast enough. "Phoenix Base, this is underground control," she transmitted to Colonel Park in New York. "The fleet engagement is proceeding. As planned, initiate ground operations." Around the world, the signal went out to resistance cells that had been dormant for 5 years. In London, former SAS soldiers emerged from sewers to strike at Kithran command posts. In Tokyo, scientists activated EMP devices that had been hidden in the city's infrastructure. In Snow Polo, civilian volunteers who had been secretly trained for years began coordinating mass civil disobedience. The Kithrans had conquered Earth's military, but they had never truly controlled Earth's people. Victory's price, the battle around Jupiter, lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Kithran fleet was scattered and demoralized, their formation broken, their confidence shattered. Admiral Sexton found himself facing a reality his species had never encountered, a defeated enemy that had somehow become stronger. "Through defeat," Admiral Vexmol reported, his voice shaking, "we're receiving surrender offers from 17 human worlds. But they're not surrendering to us. They're demanding that we surrender to them." Sexton stared at the tactical display, watching as human ships continued to harass his scattered forces. In 6 hours, everything he had believed about warfare had been turned upside down. "Get me a line to Admiral Chen," he said quietly. The human admiral appeared on the main screen, floating in what appeared to be a simple command center. He looked tired but determined, like a man who had carried a great weight for a long time. Admiral Sexton Chen said formally, "I assume you want to discuss terms." Sexton's skin had faded to a pale blue, the Kithran equivalent of exhaustion. "Your species was defeated. Your military was destroyed. How is this possible?" Chen smiled, and in that smile was 5 years of pain, sacrifice, and unbreakable human will. "You destroyed our military. You occupied our world. You thought that meant you had conquered us. But you never understood the most important thing about humanity, which is, we don't stay beaten, we learn, we adapt, we come back stronger." Chen leaned forward slightly. "You conquered Earth, Admiral, but you never conquered the human spirit." The new dawn 3 months later. Captain Maria Santos stood on the observation deck of Ceres Station, watching as the last Kithran transport left the solar system. The aliens hadn't been destroyed, or enslaved. That wasn't the human way. Instead, they had been given a choice: leave peacefully or face a species that had learned to turn defeat into victory. Most had chosen to leave. Admiral Chen floated beside her, looking older but more peaceful than she had ever seen him. The Black Armada was being decommissioned. Its ships either returned to civilian service or integrated into a new Earth Defense Force built on the lessons of the last 5 years. "Do you think they'll be back?" Maria asked. Chen considered the question carefully. "Maybe, but if they come back, they'll be coming to fight humans who have learned that defeat is just another word for education. They'll be coming to fight a species that doesn't know how to stay conquered." Below them, Earth turned slowly in. Space, blue and green and beautiful. Cities were being rebuilt. Families were reuniting. Children who had grown up under occupation were learning what freedom meant. The Kitharan Empire had expected humanity to surrender. Instead, they had given humanity something far more dangerous: a reason to prove that surrender was just another word for preparation. The Black Armada had returned to the shadows, but its lesson echoed across the galaxy. Humanity doesn't break. It bends, it learns, and it comes back stronger. The stars themselves would remember that lesson for a very long time.